Everyone, so this is the squid. It is a mollusk in the class cephalopoda, and ceph means head, pod means foot. So it means that their head right here is directly attached to their feet. And so some of the exterior anatomy in their head area. So that we have the eyeballs. These ones are kind of weird, like there's skin over top of it. So the eyes are right here on the head. And if you dig into them, you can actually find the lens. They actually have really good vision. Yeah, so you can actually take out the lens. Then you have, they had 10 appendages. Oh, this one's broken. So they have, the shorter ones are called the arms. There are 8 of them, 8 arms. And then the longer ones are the tentacles. There's 2 of them. That one's been broken off. And then on the ends of the arms and the arms and tentacles, there are suckers. And if we go in, don't squirt juice out. Okay, then we have the mouth. And inside the mouth, you see the little black hard thing, that's their beak. So inside the mouth they have a beak that's used for tearing up their food. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, you can feel it, it's really hard. Yeah, you can hear it. So that's the beak and the mouth. Is there anything else? Okay, so the upper body, so one characteristic of all mollusks is a mantle. In the squid, the mantle is their epidermis, or the outer body of the upper part that covers all their organs. So all of this is the mantle. And in other mollusks, the mantle secretes the shell. But in the cephalopods, they have a reduced or non-existent shell compared to the other mollusks like the snail or the clam. Their shell is reduced to the structure right here called the pen. And you can see the point of it right here. And so this little rim right here, the rim of the mantle, is called the collar. And you can actually see it right there. That is the pen, and that's their reduced shell. You can see all those little purple dots. Those are called chromatophores. Those are color pigment cells that can allow the squid to change colors. And these are the fins, and they help steer and coordinate the squid when it's swimming. What other external? Then the other external feature right here is the siphon. And how they move is through jet propulsion. So they pull water into their mantle, and that space inside of here is called the mantle cavity. And so it pulls in water and shoots water out of the siphon. It's also called the funnel, and it moves it. So it's called jet propulsion, but it has 3 functions. So one is for movement, it expels water for movement. The anus comes out of here, so waste comes out. The ink sac comes out of here, so releases ink. And also the reproductive organs, either the penis or the oviduct, releases sperm or egg out of the siphon also. So it has 4 functions that releases things. So hopefully, I'm hoping this is a male. I saw a little video that the males have, looking at it externally, there's no way to tell if it's a male or female. It's when we open it up. So I saw a video that they said if it has thicker arms, it's a male, because they use it for wrapping around the female during reproduction. And if it has thinner arms, it's a female. And I'm hoping, I can't really tell a huge difference from all the ones in the bucket. So when you cut, let me go over the anatomical directions. So this side right here, where you can see the pen and the top of the head, this is going to be dorsal. And this side right here, the underside, is going to be ventral, where the siphon is, and this is very important. So ventral is where the siphon is. So since this is the head, this is going to be anterior, and then the tip up here, this is going to be posterior, away from the head. So it's going to be important that whenever you go to cut, you're going to be on the ventral side facing up where the siphon is. You have to cut right here, starting. So wherever the siphon is right here, you're going to cut on, so starting along the collar right here and going all the way up to the top. And make sure the cut not very deep, because you'll cut into some of the organs. So lift it up and cut. Oh. Oh, I was wrong. This is a female. So when you go to pin, T-pins, you want to go at an angle like that. This female looks a lot better than the one from last year. I can see all the structures. Okay, yep, so this is a female because it has ovaries right here. If it has this layer, this membrane is called the peritoneum, and it covers the organs. And you can gently peel away the peritoneum so you can get to everything. Oh, I tore something, but oh well. I'll use the scalpel. Okay, so biggest thing that you'll see on both the male and female I tore it again are these structures right here on either side. Those are the gills. So the way they do respiration, most of the aquatic mollusks, I think all the aquatic mollusks will have gills. So even the clams have gills. So those little frilly appendages right here on the sides are the gills, and that's how it does gas exchange, respiration. This one's a little messy right here. So this little shiny thing right here, that is the ink sac. And as you can see, it got a puncture hole right there, and there's ink that leaked out into it. And so the ink sac, there's an opening right there, and it releases out through the siphon. Also, you can kind of see the other tube. Right there, that is well, further up here, it's the intestines. But further down here, that's the rectum, and then the opening at the very end, that is the anus. So the intestine, rectum, and anus are kind of alongside where the ink sac is. And so just the rectum is just closer to the end, and the anus is the opening at the very end. And then the intestine is a little bit further up. And then on either side, these ones have really small ones compared to last year. They're very large last year in the squid, which kind of confused me. Is the liver. It was supposed to be on either side. So if you get a squid with like large things around the ink sac, that's the liver. And this one doesn't really have the large one like the ones from last year. This right here and this right here are called the siphon. What is it called? Oh my gosh, having brain fart. Not adductor muscles. Siphon. Oh my gosh. Contractor muscles? I'll have to look it up. So yeah, they're the siphon, the muscles that move the siphon in the head, and they're attached to it, and they can, these muscles, contractor muscles, adductor muscles, you'll see in the document. And you can see right here, you can see the pen, and you actually can see it kind of breaking through right there also. These two structures you're only going to see in the female, so it covers up a lot of the organs when we're looking at the squid. These are called, you'll need to know these are called the nidamental glands. Nidamental glands. So these will secrete a sac that goes around the eggs when the female deposits them. So that's what the nidamental glands are for. And so obviously this is the ovary, and you can see all the little eggs in the ovary. I'm not going to for sure if I'm going to be able to see all of the organs. Ooh, that's kind of weird feeling. So squid, they have 3 hearts. I think this one is the side one. So there's 2 on the side and 1 in the middle. The 2 side ones are called the brachial hearts or the gill hearts, and the brachial hearts will pump blood to the gills. And there's going to be another one over here. So there's 2 hearts on the side. The one in the middle doesn't really have, like, I can't really see it, but it's just right there. That is called the systemic heart. And think it's systemic, like body, so it doesn't pump blood throughout the body of the squid, while the brachial hearts just pump blood to the gills. Not for sure if we're going to be able to see the stomach and the female squid. Ugh. Yeah, so you can see the pen right there. And so their digestive system includes, yes, we have the intestine, rectum, and anus, but then there's a stomach, and then there's another structure called the cecum that further digests and absorbs food. I'm thinking right here, that's the stomach. Right there. forepart of the nidamental glands. So I'm thinking actually this is the stomach and this is the cecum. So this thicker one right here is the cecum, and this sac that was right here that's deflated, that is the stomach. And so food gets digested in the stomach and travels to the cecum. They get further digested, and it starts this food absorption in the cecum too, as well as when it travels to the intestine, it continues to absorb and also creates the waste product. So this is pretty much for the interior of the female squid. Hopefully I can find a male squid so you can see the difference, and you can see a lot more of the structures in the male squid. Yeah, so we have the nidamental glands right there. So that's a big key identifier for a female squid. Then you have the ovaries with the eggs. Then you have the gills. You have your hearts. I think I kind of destroyed it, but yeah, that's probably one of the branchial hearts. The systemic heart's like right in the middle. You have your ink sac along with the intestine, the rectum, and the anus coming out here. And then you have your siphon. Oh, that's the word, retractor muscle. So it's a siphon retractor muscle on each side. That was the word I was thinking of. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pause it, and then I'll probably just cut. Okay, so part 2. Now we moved on to the male. So the tentacle thing didn't quite work out. We didn't determine whether there was a male or female. Okay, so you can see right here, you don't see a giant ovary with eggs coming out. So if you don't see the giant ovary like this, then it's probably going to be the male. And so like here, I had to tear apart and cut apart that peritoneum that was up here, that membrane that covers the organs. And I just probed and then used a scalpel to cut it apart. And also this pen was up here. It was kind of like broken, and so I had to cut that out too because it was in the way. So here you can see the organs a little bit better. So this is the stomach right here. And attached to the stomach, the second part of the digestive system, is a cecum. So there's part of the testes that broke off. So this sac right here, that's connected to the stomach right here, is the cecum. And that's where digestion continues to take place and where absorption begins. And then it'll go down to the intestine. So then this structure right here, I kind of all broke up. This is the testis, which is a singular version of testes. We can call it testes if you want to, because it's easier just to say, but it only has one, so it's called testis. And then it connects that little red tube right here, and then the tube, that's the vas deferens, where the sperm, so the testes, or testis, creates a sperm. And then there's a little tube, and then this red, that is the vas deferens, where the sperm will travel to the spermatophoric gland, or the sperm sac for short. So sperm sac or spermatophoric gland. And then it travels back here, and where it comes out right here, that is the penis. And so right here, this is the penis, so testis, and then can't quite tell where it hooks up, but the vas deferens is the tube. And then we have the spermatophoric gland or sperm sac, and then this penis, where the sperm will go out through the siphon. And I'll go over, you can see it a little bit better now because it doesn't have those nidamental glands in the way. So right here in the middle, that is the systemic heart. And the systemic, think of systemic, think of like body. So this is going to pump blood throughout the body. And then these ones right here are called the brachial hearts or the gill hearts because they pump blood directly to the gills. And so these ones should be easy to identify. These are the gills where it does respiration. And like I said, the ones last year had large livers. So the liver is like right here, and it secretes digestive enzymes. And last year there was like a mass. Here we have the siphon. Yep, I just tore into the liver right there. So that's the liver. This is the siphon retractor muscles. So they control the siphon in the head. Here you have your ink sac. That's silvery. I saw some videos online, people saying, no, it didn't eat a fish. It looks like a fish, but it's not. Yeah, so that's the ink sac. You can kind of see on the ink sac, that other tube right here, that's the intestine. Oh, there's the penis of the squid. So on the other side of the ink sac is the intestine. So it's more the intestine like further up here because there's the stomach right there. So the stomach's right here. And there's the cecum. And then there's the intestine. And closer to the end is the rectum. And then at the end of the ink sac is the anus. So you have your ink sac and your anus right there. And then you have the squid's penis that also goes out through the siphon. So pulls water into the mantle cavity, pushes it out through the siphon. So water for movement. You have your waste from your anus. You have the ink from the ink sac. And you have the sperm from the penis that are expelled out through the siphon. For here, it would be the fertilized eggs in the female. The only other thing I wanted to go over that I had cut in between the videos is the buccal mass or the buccal bulb, which is the mass where the mouth and the beak are. And so I just pulled up the siphon and cut a little bit and then cut in between the arms of it. And then you could see this little mass. And then I pulled it. So I put my fingers around it and pulled and popped it out. Be very gentle. It's almost like when you watch Dr. Pimple Popper and she pulls out one of the lipomas. So I just gently pulled it. And that right there is the esophagus. So the buccal mass, the buccal bulb, is where the mouth and the beak is. So you can see the beak right there. And if we can't see it right here, but a common feature of all mollusks is that they have a radula. And inside that, well, only the squid and octopus have a beak. But inside the mouth, there's going to be a tongue-like, a raspy tongue-like structure, flexible structure, used for like eating, like snails use a radula for like scraping algae off rocks and everything. So they have like a tongue-like structure called a radula, and that's a common feature in all mollusks. And so yeah, this is called the buccal mass or the buccal bulb. It kind of looks like a bulb. And that's the esophagus that then runs underneath here. Then that goes to the stomach. I think this one was the stomach. And this was the cecum. And so on the female, you just really need to know that this is the ovaries with the eggs. Those little structures right there are the nidamental glands that creates the egg sac covering. And like I said, you could see more of the structures, like the heart over in the male, right here, like the hearts. And I think that's all the internal and external structures of the squid.